We're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:01. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Kevin, you want to show them your T-shirt?
Oh, yeah. Look,
Oh, awesome.
yeah, I was
Wait,
just like
Turn
playing
a
around.
little bit, Kevin. Turn her a little bit. Turn to
camera's
your
over there, I
right.
think.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
there it
turn
is.
to your right.
There you go.
There we go. All right, where do we get those? Where do we get those?
I will send you the link to Amazon.
We're,
Depending on which way we're.
we may be ordering some for.
I bought it for myself. I just wanted to see how it would look. And to spread the word.
It's awesome.
Time. We just did the pledge and we're getting ready to start off. Welcome introduction we can dispense with because Matt's on here, Sam's on here, Lou's on here. It's all
Okay.
commission members, so nobody introduced today. Nope. Everybody got the minutes that Lou generously passed out to everybody. If you need a minute, or I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
So who's that?
I think it was Charlie.
Sam Cargill.
Sam Cargill first and Connor second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. We'll move on to marketing and communications update. We've got that.
That would be
So
more
we-
social, yeah.
My hold up is, can I make, it's just gonna be so much easier to make a Facebook that's linked. I'm having issues logging in with the one that we created. So that's our Facebook hold up.
Yeah, you want to just talk to Mary Alice, and she's my technical guru on this stuff.
Yeah, because she basically what she was saying is she couldn't find me to add me to it. So then I can't link them.
Yeah, whatever,
Okay,
whatever.
so
you
I'll
guys work
sidebar
out
with
is
her.
totally fine with me.
But I did bring my camera. Maybe we can grab a photo of yours so that they're.
I thought I sent you one. I mean, you
Yeah,
can.
but it's just,
Okay,
it'll be easier to,
I would have wore something nicer.
that's fine. No, it's fine.
Great. That'll be the last photo you need.
I don't have Sam's or Matt, but
Hey,
we can
Matt,
certainly start that with what we have, and I'll keep going on our next meeting.
I have a photo for you. I have my assistant sent to you. No problem.
Great.
It's my LinkedIn one, or whatever.
Great. So yeah, other than that, then we have all of our assets to get started.
Otherwise, we have to go to Deer Valley and pick it up.
That's a shame.
Joan, what you wearing?
Oh, you got a t-shirt. Can I sit here?
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
But we did launch our logo on Instagram and luckily started to gain some followers from that, so we'll keep going on.
How many followers do we have?
I think it's minimal. It's under 100 right now, but
Still,
for
not
a
bad.
brand new account,
Yeah,
it takes some time.
Oh,
So,
you get the word out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a whole lot of programming yet.
right.
To talk to Crow about, yeah.
So yeah, but we're getting that going.
Anything other?
Maybe just Kevin, if you want to talk about if people do have materials that want to go out, what's the best way for people to access our art?
I think there's two things. If you're, it's a pretty simple thing. I'll send a link out to everybody so that you can access the files. You know, it's a downloadable, it's very simple, like you just grab the logo and you. But if you're uncomfortable with that, I think you or I, if you have content, we could make it into the template that we want to use on social.
Right, just provide content.
Content to us, so it'd probably be the
best way.
best way. Yeah.
It'd be
So,
great.
yeah, and I think we should all keep our eye though, and there's no such thing as too much content to have in your back pocket for a rainy, slow content.
Yeah, Matt's got a question. Go ahead, Matt.
Are those socials linked on the Arts Commission page on the Fairfield website?
I don't think they are at this point.
That I don't have.
Okay,
Roll
that'd
to
be
do that,
great,
but-
because that's one of the first things that comes up if you search Arts Commission.
Is there a way to link social posts?
We'll figure it out.
Okay, great. So that's just the website.
Mary Alice is out this week,
Okay.
so if you can hit her up Monday, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Anything else other than marketing and communications?
Probably pivot back to you guys in a little bit. So we'll need some marketing communications assistance with our.
All right, next item on the agenda is the Arts and Cultural District designation to hear and consider and act on establishing boundaries for a proposed downtown arts and cultural district. Those you on the phone call, Mark had provided us with a map. I think you might have it.
It was emailed, yeah.
It was emailed.
That was one of the attachments.
I've shared this as a draft with a couple of different groups. Katie had a meeting with our tourism partners.
That's how we got here.
And we also, yeah. we
Yeah,
had it at-
no doubt. I knew that was, I figured.
But yeah, I've also shared it with our downtown merchants too, as well, to let them know that there is an arts commission. We're working on establishing a downtown arts and cultural district and what the benefit of that is to them as merchants. So again, we're just starting to percolate a little bit of word out, but we do need to at least propose boundaries, and then, we have to go through then a process by which we solicit some input from the public before finalizing them and submitting them. So.
I do have a question real quick on this, and not to absolutely, because when I was playing around, I wanted to include Quick Center as well, but I thought part of the criteria was walking.
Yeah,
This is walking, I get it, but it's,
I could walk there.
I know.
It's pretty, pretty healthy hike, but, but yeah, it's a little bit stretches a little bit of the criteria.
the
but
only
it's not
question,
ridiculous.
the real question I have is not.
No, I'm here as a resident.
Yeah, is that, will that interfere with our designation if they say, well, this is, I don't know how this works, so.
No, I mean, if you look at New London encompasses the entire downtown city, it's like
I don't
a
think
broad
that's
area, so.
Sacred Heart might be too far to walk. but-
Yeah, I think, you can't,
It was right here.
you can't really, it's a mile,
Good,
it's
but-
a mile.
That's it?
It's a mile from the, if you walked it from the boundary, it would be a mile away
Oh,
from
that's
the
it?
road. I think it's great.
No, again, I'm being a devil's advocate.
And, again,
With our,
I think the boundaries are just initially upon application.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be any demarcation posted on the road that says you're now leaving the arts and culture.
entering.
So I think it's really, it's a marketing ploy. That's really all it is. And I think it helps reinforce what we're trying to achieve, which is to designate Fairfield as an arts and cultural designation, the whole town. So if doing this helps put us on the map, I think that's why we're doing it.
And I think it does, and again, one of the things that I know that the town of Fairfield owns, we're the only town in Connecticut that has 2 universities. There's no other town that has 2 universities. You can go look it up. I've already done the research. So,
New Haven.
Well, not.
It's a city.
I don't know.
That depends how you.
See, look at your onlys. So here's the thing about that, including, the Arts Center here is very important, because then we can start to really engage both schools, even though one's too far walking away, in their art programs into the Fairfield Arts
That's why
community.
we have the Shoe Community Theater as well, so they're down.
Right, but yeah, we have representation. Yes, oh, absolutely. So I think, I like this. Vote on this yet?
Make a motion.
I make a motion to vote on this.
To approve it.
What's your motion?
Oh, I know.
You guys didn't make a-
I motion we approve the map that's laid out in front of us. All right, second the motion.
Second,
It looks good to me.
Do we have any discussion? Other than we've heard? Matt, Lou, Sam? Lou, you're muted.
No, I think it's fine. I understand the conversation about the Quick Center, but I think it's making Fairfield a destination choice for those looking for the arts. Really what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
No, it seems like the only way, because we all want to make it inclusive of everything, but it's yeah, it's about the town ultimately. So I'm sure we could cut it and dice it a million times. It won't be perfect.
I think. you
I
should
agree.
tell us when we communicated that just because it's not in the art district, doesn't mean it's not gonna be supported, celebrated.
Absolutely.
promoted. So it's just a communication issue for us.
Absolutely.
As we
The other
talk
thing,
about it.
and the other thing we sent out with it was what we have is a working list of arts, cultural, creative businesses here in town, throughout town. And if you see anything that's should have listed, if we didn't list, please let us know. I'm sure others will comment and let us know. But it's meant to be a working list, and the same with, activities or events that have an arts cultural component to it. So that was, to your point, I think that's important messaging.
All right, so then there's a motion on the table to accept the map that was drawn, proposed downtown arts and cultural district that you all received by email. Had discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
So you had Sam and Edie.
So you guys are, okay, I just actually gave the motion because he just said, make a motion, you gotta.
I didn't make the motion. She said, we can do it again. I motion that we accept it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's just for Lou for the minute, so she knows what's right with the motion, what the motion actually stated.
And my big question is that snow in
Thank you.
back of Lou?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where? What?
All right, let's get,
Oh my God.
all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
anybody opposed? All right, the vote's unanimous, 9-0. Okay, we move on to discussion of scheduling a community open house and a conversation on the arts.
Let me cue this up for Sam and for Pat and Christine. We did have a couple meetings. Sam has been orchestrating a few meetings with John Cusano and David Green, formerly of the Cultural Alliance. I have in your packet, and I'll email to everyone here, kind of an outline, a run of show, an itinerary for the proposed arts cultural conversation, tentatively scheduled now for April 27th, which is a Saturday, from 10 to 12 at Fairfield Theater Company's warehouse space. We will provide for an earlier, registration window and opportunity to kind of, doors open a little bit earlier. But the idea is really to engage the community, the artists and local creatives especially, but the public at large, as the ways in which the town through the Arts Commission can be helpful in creating a more vibrant arts community, arts and cultural destination. There will be some, for those that register in advance, some prompts for people to think about. And when they get there, the first exercise, if you will, be to write down some of those ideas and put them up on a wall. And there'll be a series of small group and large group exercises, hopefully putting the different ideas into various buckets and creating some working groups around it, and then action steps before we conclude. So Sam already has some preliminary
I can pass
materials
some
in
of those out.
terms of how we would communicate that out to artists, but there'll be a variety of different mechanisms, direct email and working with all of you to share it with your networks, and obviously the press releases and things of that nature that we're all accustomed to. So
yeah, we're gonna have to get all together on that, but let's go over what we're planning first. For Matt and Christine and myself are now on this committee, along with John and David Green. John has been terrific about setting up how we're gonna facilitate this. What Mark was saying is that it's April 27th, 10 a.m. to 12, but we have it from 9 to 1. So let's call it a 45-minute front time to set up. We need more time, we'll have more time. And then, an hour at the back end to close it down. One of the proposals is to say that, doors open at 9. I'm proposing that we say, and I'll pass some writing out. But I'm proposing we open up doors at 9:40, to say we open up doors at 9:45, to let people know, this is what we learned at FTC or any venue, to let people know 10 o'clock we're really gonna be starting. And at the start of this, it sounds like once we get everyone in there and start to mingle, that we, the commissioners will all have a part in how to facilitate this. Okay, and then we'll break up into groups, and each one of our commissioners will facilitate that group. I don't know how many are going to be in the group, but hopefully won't be overbearing. And you've done ideations before, right? Okay, so that's basically the concept is to do group ideations, write stuff out, post it up on the wall. Then to start to coordinate that probably, and we'll talk to John about how this gets facilitated, but when we're breaking it down and trying to set things up, have the artists start to mingle with each other again. And that should be sort of coordinated so the artists can, see who other artists are. And hopefully that would be terrific. And then we get them back together again. One of the other things too is we've started to formulate some questions that we'd like to put into a script and or send out early. I can go over that in a minute or Christina, Matt can. Trying to think what else was there on this was, this was, again, trying to get some data. The yellow has my edits on it. I think I only have 2 edits on it. Those have edits on it. This was just
So for those following online, I will send out a draft 2-page proposed outline of this event for comment. I mean, this will be refined, I think, with the working group that's been established with Sam, Christine, and Matt, working with John and David. But I think for purposes of tonight, we just want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're on the right track.
on the right page, yep.
We're okay with having this event at FTC's warehouse on the 27th of April. And the overall concept of having a workshop that's really meant to engage the artists, community, as well as the public to kind of respond to the idea of what does an arts supportive community look like to you?
Right, what can the town do for you? What can the town do for you as an artist? What are you expecting, from, I'm trying to think of some of the other things that we talked about. But it was, how has, anything else in other communities work? What ways can the town help create a dynamic arts community? How best can we engage with you, et cetera, et cetera. We have, we'll start formulating more of those questions and writing them out in a more language, articulate, more talking fashion rather than, reading. So, and we'll get used to that script. I mean, it's going to be pretty simple, and that's really, if we keep it simple, then we will program in our heads what type of questions we want to get answered. The reason I passed this out really was one of the things that we've been talking about is getting a larger database. The database we have right now is about 70 artists for their direct contact, but I'd like to start to really get more database in, and how do we do that? We have to get the contact information, so that way we can start sending something out so we can know about how many we're going to have. So I mean, if we have a database of 1,000, we may get 40 people coming. I mean, that's really sort of how the numbers sort of work. I think in this, we're going to have this is my gut feeling, it's just gut feeling. We're going to have a higher rate of, I want to get involved, because this does say, we have an official way of doing this. Now we have a commission. Okay, that we never had before, because look, in all honesty, this has gone out there how many times? Cultural Alliance, cultural this, cultural that. There's also an area, what was it, Mill Plain Road? Is it Mill Plain? Where the signs are up, there's a cultural district. There's signs up already. It's unofficial. Someone had put signs up 10 years ago. But they never took them down. Yeah. So here's this, we're finally official. We have a real commission. We are commissioners. And so, I already know a bunch of people that are very excited about getting involved.
I have a question, guys.
Go ahead.
First of all, you've confirmed this with FTC, Sam?
Yeah,
You
I
could.
talked with Megan.
Okay, so if we're only expecting at most, you said 40 or 50 people, Sam?
No, I'm saying that we could possibly get 100, 150. We have to get a lot. We have to get a database so we could start to really figure out how many, because once I already have a database that has databases. So we need to get something to them to send out, and then and Christine has a boatload. So yeah, my gut feeling says there's a lot.
The request that was made by the facilitator was, can we have a wide open creative space that allows for flexible seating and small group exercise in different. And I thought, something in the center of town. So I did talk to Megan and she has a soft hold on it for us.
Yeah.
We're actually
Okay,
on.
it's very hard to hear. Charlie and I have been in meetings at FTC as the board members, and it's often sometimes hard to hear a group in the warehouse at a meeting. So that's the only thing if we think we're going to be less than 50, we might consider the gallery or stage 1, because it's
We have
much
actually a
easier
hold
to
on
hear.
both.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And the thing,
good.
yeah, the thing with that too, I get what you're saying, we'll probably be broken up into different, the way it sounds like it's gonna be facilitated into, let's say, 10 different tables of 10 people each, we're making that up, so. But, the commissioners will be at each one, so it's not gonna be total group talking.
Okay, great. Okay, just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, good point.
Christine, you have anything to add?
I wanted to be clear on something. So for this event, I know you've been focused mostly on visual artists?
No.
No, so we can
Actually,
invite
yeah.
writers.
Yeah, oh
and-
yeah, as it says here, any art form, it's
Right.
visual,
To come
culinary,
to
yeah,
this.
oh, absolutely, yeah,
And for your database, that's everybody.
who's an artist.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we want to try to get the word out as broadly as possible, and in our conversations, I wouldn't restrict it to, it's Fairfield based, but if somebody is coming from outside the community that really wants to be engaged, I'm not gonna say no.
Right.
And I think if there's a member of the public that's not an artist that really wants to be involved in this, that's a great idea. So this is not, it's meant to be as inclusive as possible. So all of us will have to get the word out to
Yeah.
all the people that we know.
And to Mark's point, this writing is real, this first draft is focused on mostly artists, so we can start developing that. The next, something else that goes out should be in a slightly broader sense.
I think we wanted to share it with you guys. So
Yeah.
we get some input on the marketing. Front.
Yeah.
There should be coordination.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that we need to build the campaign of like, okay, is it an e-blast? Where's that coming from?
Right.
Who has, that's software that the commission doesn't have right now. Unless it's just a email where we BCC.
I think it's an email BCC right now. So.
Okay. We obviously can.
I mean, I
promote
can,
on social.
we do have a subscription. We can build a mailing list off of MailChimp, but we don't have that yet, so.
Did you find out about that one email?
I haven't, but I will confirm that with IT. I
I'm just
kind of got
curious.
distracted,
'Cause I
but
think that's gonna be
Well,
important.
yeah. So originally we had people responding to just an individual email address. And I said, I think that we could set up something that's like a little bit more official. It says Fairfield Arts at fairfieldct.org.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can do that. It comes into it's a monitored email address. I'm sure Mary will add it to the many emails she already is monitoring, but that way we have it in a central location. Is not dependent upon, any one of us, that may not have the time.
And I'm gonna throw something on the table just to start incubating about is one of the things that did come up in discussion is as we start doing this is to start to create this community where we can engage. So we can have an arts community on, social. Okay, so as we start building is to think about that. It's not gonna be, oh, we had something, thanks, take the tip of the hat. It's how do we engage them, keep them engaged, et cetera, et cetera.
And just, this is selfish reasons. I am actually committed that day to a massive work meeting that's like all day long. So I would love to just make sure we have enough commissioners that are available that day. I don't know.
That's the
Likewise,
reason why we bringing it up. So
Yeah.
I can't be there, guys. I'm sorry. I'm out of
lose,
town.
no.
I might be able to pop in for like a half hour, but
Yeah, we wouldn't have.
How about,
Saturday the 27th.
yeah, Saturday 27th. And what frankly drove that was John and David's availability. And we thought, we needed at least a month to get people on a hold. So it was really end of April. And then if you get too far into like May, then you start losing people. So, but yeah, that's a good point. And that's kind of why we wanted to talk about, logistics a little bit tonight to see.
So could we have stand-ins, like artists from the community that would be willing to stand in for one of the commissioners, like Priscilla would probably be able to She said she would come to it, but could she be answering questions if she?
Yeah,
knows about
I'm
it?
not sure it's the role that we thought we would intersperse the commission members that are in attendance amongst the tables.
Right.
But I didn't necessarily, and maybe Sam read into it a little differently than I did, that you would necessarily have to facilitate the conversation. You could, but you know, tables could appoint somebody else to facilitate the small group conversation. So I don't know.
There's a guidance, you know, so if people get off course, and I've been on these too, and if people get off course, you bring them back on, but you're right, I mean, it could be anyone.
I thought it was, we thought it would be important to have a good representation from the commission at the event that you're
Right.
hosting, obviously. So if we don't have, then we need to look at another date. So I know we have one,
I can-
two.
I can-
Yeah, I can do it.
I already have plans, so, but I can work around if I absolutely have to be there.
So we have three maybes and two definitely no, one maybe, and I don't know
well,
about Sam. You're
Mark,
traveling
I'm-
a lot.
well, I'm in Yale the whole day, on the
Okay.
27th.
Okay,
But you know what, the point of having somebody who we will have, if you have a really good facilitator and you organized and you have, you know, rules of the road, when you have people that can actually, part of the community can help facilitate or drive the conversation and report back. That's what you're looking to do. It doesn't necessarily, that's my view. And I don't know how many
Yeah.
tables you would need. You know, if we're looking at 130 people, 100, maybe 100 be ambitious, I think. That's 10 tables, right? So you need coverage for 10 tables, something.
yeah, it was, for me, it would really be like if you're hosting an event and you had two people from the commission there, that would be a kind of a problem. Cause the whole point of it is to hear from the community. If you're not there to hear that message, it sends a bad, you know, tone. That's a bad tone, obviously. So,
Matt, are you able to make that or not?
Yeah, I can make it work. I think the same thing though. It's like we're talking about, we've been having these meetings. We're saying we want to hear from you in the town. I don't think it's great if half of us aren't there. I would love to revisit the scheduling around getting as many people there as possible. Cause we're still supposed to be the ears of the community. It feels strange to kind of offload that responsibility to someone else. They might be a skilled facilitator, but we're supposed to be there to listen and share in what we've been doing. I would love to revisit the date, but I'll make it work.
Well, if you make it and Kevin's there, I'm there, Sam's there,
Yeah,
Christine's
five.
there,
yeah.
and you have a possibility. We would have like 5 out of the 9 and Mark, so I mean, I think that'd be enough. I don't think we want to keep kicking this can down the road.
And remember, David and John are gonna sort of represent the commissioners
Well,
also.
the other thing would be, this would hopefully not be the end of the conversation either. So, I mean, it's just a good start, but I think you know, if we have 5, 6 people, that should be.
We should have the majority.
Yeah.
We have a majority.
You have quorum, in other words, for that.
I think it's gonna be next to impossible to get us all there on a date schedule.
We looked at an evening thing too, but the evenings get so filled up with other stuff and some people just don't come out for evening things either, so. Yeah, there really was no perfect date or time that really worked, but we thought maybe.
I should be able to make it work.
All right.
I just have a logistical question though. Who is going to actually run, like, is there gonna be a staff? Cause I just know people can really talk. So how are we envisioning keeping on track?
I don't, he broke it down a lot more than, I think, I'm trying to dumb it down a little bit. Maybe that's for him, internal clock, you know, but.
Yeah.
I think, you know, people don't, I agree with you. I don't know that we need to have it boiled down to this for the public's consumption or the participants' consumption. It's really just, there's 3 components. The first thing, you come in, you know, put up your own ideas on the board. There's an opportunity to meet and have informal one-on-one conversation. Then there's a welcome, small group exercise. Then we gather as a large group and try to, you know, crystallize that into some kind of action plan. So I think that's doable within 2 hours, but somebody's gonna have to keep things moving.
And Mark, what'd you say about open bar?
No bar, that's the last thing you want.
At 9 in the morning.
We will provide, so part of our big budget will go to providing for some refreshments. And we did talk about having T-shirts so that Arts Commission members would be recognized there. So, good idea.
Yeah.
And we talked about funding that out of our.
So you have ESP, you have ESP,
Oh, fantastic.
Kevin, you have ESP?
I've worn this thing like
That's it,
3
you do.
times. The quality, you can see it used to be jet black.
That's great. It looks well worn.
Yeah, which it should.
It's like the Arts Commission's been around for years.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, the signs on Middle Plain said.
All right, says it.
Yeah,
All right, so I guess we're gonna stick with the 27th, 9 to 1, 12, 10, 12. All right, anything else on that discussion? Okay.
You know?
Now we're gonna move on to the annual reports, the RTM.
The only reason I put this on is that I did reach out to the moderator and the moderator said, we can accommodate you at our March meeting. So we're actually on the agenda for March 18th. And so I didn't know exactly, I have to provide backup materials by tomorrow. So I wasn't sure if I was sending the one pager that Lou kindly put together, which is kind of without the artwork, or something else, or we send them the one pager that Lou
Talking about
put
this one?
together, that one. And then we actually have a presentation of some sort. Not, I don't think we have a very long presentation based on the slide deck we have, but we can do that at the committee meetings. But I just wanted to understand better what you intended.
Well, obviously, this is fine, because you want to make the spiel and get off. Maybe possibly also put in the map.
Thoughts?
I thought when Jen was at the meeting last month, guys, I thought she was totally open to a more creative, quick presentation, which is what Kevin whipped up, that beautiful
Yeah.
PowerPoint. So, and that she thought that would liven up the RTM meeting instead of a one pager. So did anybody else hear that, or am I dreaming?
No, you weren't dreaming.
I heard that.
We all heard
I
it.
think that could be given to the RTM and then
Right.
Then you
10
walk
minutes on the
through-
slide.
You walk through this
Right.
presentation, you just need to drop in the map.
And I guess
So-
the only other question I had, the way this works is we'll make a report in committee, just a full RTM a week before the regular meeting. So that we're scheduled for the 18th. So I don't know who would like to attend. If it's Charlie, you're gonna come, so.
It's next Monday?
Yeah.
I can go.
I can't be at that one.
I would just make one comment as somebody who's been on the RTM, and these presentations when you show the map, just be prepared for every district to question the map. You just have to walk in and say, this is the arts district. End of story. It's not up for debate. I guarantee you that will happen. And there will be, just to be absolutely certain of what you're going to say and present. You can open a can of worms. It's also budget season too, so no one wants a long RTM meeting.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, I don't think those are all good points, Sam. I don't think our presentation should be very long. And I think that with regard to the map, excellent points. I think, again, we're going to emphasize that this is really about creating awareness for Fairfield as an arts cultural destination, and this is the vehicle by which we would do it. So, but we'll definitely have a response for that question.
And be mindful that you will be asking for money for next year's budget.
Yeah, that would be great.
So I guess the questions are who's presenting and who's redoing the deck, right?
The deck's
Exactly.
pretty much done. It just needs this slide added.
Yeah, I'll send that to you and then you can send it to you
I did
guys.
it. Here, I need the map.
It's a JPEG. I'll just send it to you and you can play around with it.
And you should go to Betsy tomorrow.
I'll just give her why don't we just do this? Why don't I just give them the one pager right
Okay.
now? And we can go through the deck then, so.
Okay.
Perfect.
How much are we requesting for next year?
We haven't made a request. I've just said, hey, if you talked about funding the arts, this is a opportunity to do that. But I think you should make the ask there. If it comes up.
Well, that would probably be more
I know the problems. We haven't, it's not included, right? So I get it, but.
I would, but I'd just say, I would just have them aware that we will be coming with a budget for next year.
Yeah.
And then once we determine what signature events we're gonna be part of and what, film festivals, whatever, and then put something in. And, I was on the Harbor Commission and we had a $25,000 budget for, just the Harbor Commissioner himself. So that was not a hard thing. It gets through the budget beforehand if it's not too big. But I think it'd be something that we should be thinking about for next year in terms of being modest and helping us to promote various events around it. That's all.
I think it makes sense because you're having this meeting, a community conversation, you're getting ideas from the public as to how you can best serve them for foster the arts, and that will help inform your budget request for next year. So it's a very logical process that you're going through, kind of you're setting it up. So, hey, we're gonna be coming to you with our handout next year.
But it's such a new commission is there a mechanism, again, my naivety, is there a mechanism like, ooh, we have this opportunity, but we need,
So part of it is,
$5,000 to go do something? I'm just making that, is there a mechanism to do that? Or you're just like, oh, gotta wait till next year and put it in the budget?
as an appropriations of the budget process, we're kind of in this 1-year cycle, but there are opportunities between those and they're limited, but right now there are some dollars remaining that are uncommitted, if you will. I'm talking about ARPA. And I said, we could see a public art campaign if that's what you wanted to do. But there are certain time limits as to when you have to commit and spend those dollars. So they're very mindful of not throwing it into a black hole and saying, hey, you'll get to it in 5 years. You got to actually commit and spend the dollars. Otherwise, it goes back to Washington. So if we had a specific ask, then I think, that something along those lines, we could definitely.
Well, on something like that, do we need a calendar of, we have the 27th, we're planning to do blah, 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 to say, look, it's not like the one-off. So that way, there's an investment each time, we're planning it out, et cetera, et cetera. And is there anything that we can show as an ROI that from a town that has maybe done something like this to say,
Well, I think when we have a specific ask, those questions likely will come up, but
It seems when we're not in
We
the
don't- we don't
budget, it's
really
gotta be
have-
like, we're running X. We need this much money to fund X.
yeah. We have $2,000 right now in our budget, which we're having, it's unfortunately, it's not really enough to actually do a public art campaign, right? So it's enough maybe to cover some basic administrative costs and maybe defray some of our costs with this event, but beyond that, not really anything beyond that. So we're kind of in this little awkward phase yet, but I do think it's an opportunity to set that up for future conversation. You can mention the fact we're having this event on the 27th. There might be opportunities to come before it, I was asked that on a housing question when the Affordable Housing Committee presented, we need funds. So we should, to Sam's point, have a response ready. And I think this is a good time, even if we're waiting to ask as part of the regular budget cycle till next year, at least we can queue it up a little bit, right?
Right. I think it's exactly right, Mark. You're just saying that we're building awareness and that, we're doing all the right things to build a budget, an appropriate budget, knowing what we want to fund. But you also have to look to the first selectman and say, what is your vision for the arts in Fairfield? How do you feel about it? What's important to you? Because I think the commission is driving economic activity. When you bring people to town to eat in our restaurants, stay in hotels, and go to theaters, doing things, that's a great thing. And that will resonate. And as Sam talks about the ROI on that, we can come up with, Mark, you've done this before, come up with some sort of KPIs of what kind of economic activity sort of events generated. So that's just to get them to think about it. And then we would have a hard ask next year and before the next budget, politics done for next year.
That was your plan.
I seem to remember
Okay.
Milford talking about this at the meeting when all the towns got together. the Milford Arts Council talked about how they, you know, they campaigned for more funding based on the ROI and the tourism and the, you know, economic activity that spurred. They might be a good resource, just if anyone else remembers that discussion.
Thank you, Matt. Anything else?
So I'll put out the one pager and we'll have a couple people.
You'll send me the map.
Send you the map to incorporate in the deck, and Charlie and some other folks will come to the.
I said it'll be there. We want $100,000.
Oh, my $2.
All right, so this ties in nicely with our next item, which is under new business, which is fundraising ideas.
I think Sam had some thoughts on that, so.
All right, Sam, go ahead. Cargill.
With Sam. Oh, Sam.
That's
Cargill.
not me,
Okay.
mine's a bake sale, so I don't think that's going to.
You know, there are certain institutions in the town, obviously, their own fundraisers. Like, and one of the things for new business was that I wanted to get this whole group together to go to Pequot Library and learn about the arts at Pequot Library. And it's something that I've funded over the years in my late wife's name. But we should consider having, you know, a gala of some sort that is not part of any specific event that we are going to be helping or sponsoring or facilitating, whether it's a, you know, a film festival or, you know, the Porch Fest or some of the things that we do. It's going to be off cycle and not tied to anything, but it's actually an opportunity for us to build awareness and have people recognize how important the arts are for a town. I mean, I think that's for another day, but you know, I'd be interested in figuring out some fundraising on from that perspective. We've got a very generous town, believe it or not, and they care deeply about their schools. They care very much about the quality of life with Fairfield, and all the people that moved out from New York and then are new to the town want to find things that they can be interested in and, you know, understand the treasures of Fairfield. So I think the fundraiser is something. I mean, we got to walk before we run. Can't have a 600-person gala under a tent somewhere, but you know, try to start something that has a regular cadence that people go to. Like I used to Pequot Library as an example of how they have their fundraisers. It's the Derby Day. It's the arts, which they do in the fall, which supports local artists, and they all bring their art and they sell it. But it's also a fundraiser at the same time. So if we could think of a signature event that people will have on their calendar and want to support over the course, you know, every year they're going to say, well, May 15th is always around when the Fine Arts Commission does their gala or event. I just throw that out. But
Sam,
yeah,
you know, to the extent to which we're successful in getting a significant appropriation to seed some type of campaign, do you think that we could leverage that commitment within the philanthropic or individual, you know, high net worth individuals that would want to contribute to that type of campaign? Or do you think it's just really, you know, some kind of more traditional fundraiser?
I think it's a combination of both, because the great philanthropists live purposeful lives. They care deeply about their charities, right? If we can tie what the Fine Arts Commission is doing around education for youth, are doing things that are very helpful to the community, that really impact the community, not making it just a destination of choice for families, businesses, but also what are we doing to help the community around things, helping those that really need it. I think that's kind of an angle. I know that for today's conversation for new business, that's probably a whole new can of worms, but probably the wrong phrase, but it's something that's really important. Yes, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, can I?
I can't really hear or understand.
I heard a little bit. I understand Gobble. I have a friend who gobbles a lot. But no, but yeah, he was talking about the gala and all that, but I think there's something interesting, and I'm just throwing this as just to riff on a little bit of when we do our event, to possibly talk to our artists and find out, look, we need to raise funding also to help you guys. Is there anything how, from their perspective of how we can sort of marry a gala together? Maybe the artists donate their art, something where we
What if
tie it
we
all
get
together.
Sort of everybody who's on this map, who's on the list of art venues.
Yeah.
If everybody donates something and we sell a coupon book, so that people can go around and actually visit all of the places on our,
Walking tour type thing, yeah.
and get something.
Nice idea.
Yeah.
We talked about something like
Like
that.
the dining.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Yeah, I think we don't want, I think we're in a prove it piece right now, so I don't know that our first thing out of the boat would be help us raise money to help you. It's kind of like, no, we don't want to do that.
Right,
I think the town needs to step up. If the town cares about creating a vibrant arts and cultural community, as I think it does, and why we created an arts commission, then I think at some point when we have a reasonable ask, this is what we need, this is what we heard from the community, this is what we need to implement that. Then I think, it's not gonna be enough. We're gonna have to supplement it, but I think the town needs to kind of go first, put the chips and say, hey, we're gonna back up our words with some action here and put some money on the table. So I do think we need to do that probably before
Oh,
we
that's
start asking people. And we don't want to cannibalize. Everyone else is trying to raise money as best they can too. So the last thing we want to do is, hey, we're trying to help you artists, but we're gonna raise money and take it.
We do have a lot of philanthropy in and around the town of.
We have to be sensitive. We have to think about how we're gonna do it.
Right, fair.
Yeah. I'm sorry, can you guys hear me now? Is this any
Yeah, a
better?
little better now, Sam.
I'm sorry, I'm in the hiding myself from others so I can be in this call and on the headset. Yeah, so I think a lot of what I said, it was garbled, but I think there's an opportunity both from a larger philanthropist and the general public to do things. But and Sam said and others, we don't want to cannibalize some of the things that are happening now. That's why I use the Pequot Library that takes local artists and has a gala around that, sells their art. So that's just one idea that's a good one, but we can't, it'd be tough for us to replicate.
Maybe something experiential. It's like the Kentucky Derby party they do. Is that a fundraiser for them?
Yes, it's their largest single fundraiser.
Yeah, I mean, that thing's great. And we could do something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's-
it's experiential. What represents the arts community, like that sort of thing. People really want to get involved with.
Is
Yeah, like something fun, like that you
Yeah,
really
think of-
want to go
yeah.
to. And you
Think
feel
of-
like,
everyone.
yeah.
And we have brand.
That
name
Kentucky
artists
Derby thing's great.
down,
Yeah,
so.
think of all the musicians we have that live in our town and the kind of a concert event we could have or things like that. But having a signature event like the Derby Day is really what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, those thoughts.
Fund me.
Is there?
I see people scamming that all the time and getting multi-million dollars for nothing.
How do those monies is it just like, obviously save the children, but on a much smaller level where we can raise undesignated funds, like, oh, this is for this mural for the Arts Commission? Is that how it's done when you raise money from
Well,
individuals for a public thing?
well, I think, yeah, there are a couple different vehicles for it, but one is, I mean, while people can contribute and get tax write-offs to contribute to municipal, like, we're not a 501c3, but it's still entitled to that. But it's sometimes easier because people understand what 501c3, it's a section of the IRS code. So maybe there's some point where you do create a companion arm that's a nonprofit.
Is there anyone else in town who has that?
No, well, there probably is, but not off the top of my head. But we've talked about it, the Affordable Housing Committee has talked about it, something like that too. In the end, we thought we don't necessarily need that in order for people to give. You just have to have a good reason for people to give, right? But I think if you're talking about individual gifts, Some people designate that and said it's only for this particular purpose. Yeah, obviously, those of you who have to raise dollars, you want stuff that's more flexible
Yeah.
as best you can, but people do, they're giving you the money, they sometimes put some strings on it.
There are organizations that have sister organizations like foundations, like some of the clubs have them. Like the Pequot Yacht Club has a foundation, a charitable foundation that takes care of the historic building. And it's not necessarily part of the club or an organization. You could have a sister, like a fine arts foundation that is essentially part of the commission. But it does things to allow people, it allows people to give money, which is a lot, more tax efficient if it's a 501c3 versus giving it to a municipality.
All stuff for us to-
Well said, thank you.
Yeah.
What he said.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, as we look at, and do stuff like that. It's great.
So real quick, I just go back for not too far back. We can also start looking at doing an artist of the year. We have a couple of well-known people living in Fairfield that we can start to wrap things around, I think. So, I mean, that's just another thought of how we make a big deal out of the arts community and the gala.
Yeah, the Arts Council used to have some type of, they had an artist of the year, and I believe it was celebrated. I don't know if it was a fundraiser alongside of it, but it was, when there was an Arts Council here, they used to do something like that. Ryan Odenak was there at the time, so. But, a lot of different ideas as we build our program, for future years, we can work that into our schedule.
Any other fundraising ideas? Anything else under new business? There is no public to make a comment, so there's no public comment. So having said that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. You make a motion? Kevin, Christine, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lou.